What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Sorry I'm a little bit late, but this is my post-fight Mike Alvarado versus Ruslan Provodnikov, and hell of a fight. If you watch my matchup, it's a series I do where I basically do a tale of the tape. I said in it, this happens to be a fight that could break out to a war, and I did that video a little while ago, maybe a month ago. I don't know. But anyway, I was exactly right. That's what it was. Ruslan also made comments earlier, and I did a video about this, and he was basically like, I'm going to pray for Mike Alvarado. And I said, the way he said it, like so calm and callous, I was like, damn, Alvarado should really be worried. This has me scared for Alvarado. And I was right, because Ruslan Provodnikov was able to put in work, put a lot of pressure on Alvarado. Don't get me wrong, Alvarado held a good account of himself early. He tried boxing. He got caught up in some brawls. He actually, in the earlier round, was fighting Ruslan on the inside, and he was looking pretty good, and he was actually besting Ruslan on some of the exchanges that they had on the inside. But Ruslan just kept at it. He was relentless. He kept applying the pressure. He obviously has a chin because I've seen him take shots from Timothy Bradley. Not that Timothy Bradley has the most power, but he was never wobbled or like, even if you watch Bradley versus Marquez when they were slugging it out in the 12th round, Bradley wobbled Marquez and caught him off balance. And Marquez has a hell of a chin also. So Ruslan definitely has a chin. He's been in there with the DeMarcus Corleys and some pretty big punchers. Alvarado was landing some nice licks on him, but it just wasn't enough. And through attrition and the battle of wills, Ruslan won that battle, and he caused Alvarado to retire on the stool. Now, speaking of Alvarado not continuing, I'm hearing a lot of hoopla about Alvarado's a quitter. Some of you guys are fucking stupid. Like, this man has had a grueling, let me repeat, grueling schedule. He's a fighter who isn't getting the Canelo type paydays. He's not getting paid like that. He's a fighter who had to earn it the hard way, started boxing late, um, just had a tough schedule. You know what I mean? Fighting kind of like a Lucas Matisse in terms of fighting the people that others would rather pass up, like the Joses and stuff like that. He fought Bradis Prescott before Bradis Prescott lost to Terrence Crawford and looked semi-suspect or whatever. Bradis Prescott is a big puncher, and he had a bad cut that opened up, and he weathered that storm, and he ended up stopping Bradis Prescott. He fought Brandon fucking Rios twice in a row, another relentless pressure fighter who's very determined, who also has a chin, and he lost the first fight, but he looked good in spots, and then he came back and redeemed himself with a rematch. And then right after, he takes it back home, and in front of his hometown crowd, he goes up against someone who gave Timothy Bradley hell, and we all seen it, hurt Timothy Bradley several times, rounds 1, 2, 6, and 12, I believe. And in front of his hometown crowd, he takes on a fighter like that, a vicious, relentless, another relentless pressure fighter with like massive power. And some people aren't paying this man respect. It was a good fight. He didn't always fight smart, but he did fight with his heart, and he gave a good account of himself in spots, and he tried. I honestly think he tried, and it was just too much. The relentless, nonstop pressure assault. He couldn't keep Ruslan off him. Another thing Ruslan did that was very impressive to me, he went to the body. I think Roy Jones Jr. hit on this point, but he was going to the body often. It wasn't like he was just headhunting. And for a more or less one-dimensional fighter like Ruslan Provodnikov, a lot of people would consider him one-dimensional because he doesn't do anything flashy. I mean, damn near he almost considers himself one-dimensional because he said before this fight that it's not going to be about technique. It's about all-out war, and I'm going to break him down. So, by his own admission, it sounds like he considers himself more or less a brawler, street fighter who has crazy power and is just going to bring the fight to you. I mean, he doesn't have an impeccable defense or anything like that. And he did some things very well, I would say. And that's just like going upstairs and going downstairs. And I think going downstairs is what really gassed Mike Alvarado in the later rounds. He was just getting pummeled. I think it was from round 7 and on. Ruslan got his second win, and the pressure was just too much, and he was getting damaged like in the 10th round, and it went back to his corner. And again, some people are saying he's a quitter and stuff like that. Like, there's no way you can even compare Mike Alvarado to Victor Ortiz, because at the end of the day, I've given Victor Ortiz shit for being a quitter, but it's because it's a repeat offense. Um, if you do something one time, that's not necessarily that you're not, you know what I mean. Oh, you're a quitter because you quit one time. Um, it's just not. Victor Ortiz, he quit in the Maidana fight. He kind of mentally quit against the Mayweather fight by headbutting Mayweather, something that could get you to lose points or disqualified. He quit in the Josecito fight. He quit in the amateurs. Some of you guys don't know that. Little things like that. He mentally loses it, and mentally quits or physically quits, i.e. the Maidana fight. So based on a string of occurrences, that's why people call Victor Ortiz a quitter. But I don't think you could do the same for Alvarado. Like I said, he's had a tough schedule. He he wanted to keep going in the Brandon Rios fight, even though Brandon Rios was giving it to him when the fight was stopped, I believe, in the 7th round. He didn't quit in the Bradis Prescott fight. Again, it was just too much. Ruslan did a lot of things right, and going to the body, and he was landing some vicious body shots. So I was surprised he lasted as long as Alvarado did. But you got to give this man props. Give Ruslan props. He seemed like a fighter he basically everything he said he would do, he did. And to me, Ruslan came across as a fighter who's lost and hasn't received that ultimate spotlight, and he wasn't going to stand for it anymore. And he showed that. He came with the great game plan. He stuck to it. He took his beating, and he delivered more. Like, some fighters are like that. They'll take whatever shots, take the incoming, just so they could release the outgoing. And sometimes the outgoing is more than what they had incoming. And if they weather their storm, sometimes their opponent can't weather theirs. Same thing with Chavez Jr. Chavez Jr. almost got Sergio Martinez out of there. So despite him getting beat up for 11 and a half rounds, he almost was able to pull the trigger in this situation. Ruslan Provodnikov and Mike Alvarado was very competitive early. The first round was definitely Ruslan. He came out vicious. I mean, this guy came out with a ferocity, like he just wouldn't take no for an answer. He came out with that kind of Mike Tyson mentality, like, I don't care what this guy brings to the table, I'm going to pressure him and get him out of there. So props to Ruslan. That's all I can say. And it also it's a testament to how good Timothy Bradley really is. Timothy Bradley fought this dude at 147, and who knows, maybe at 147, Ruslan has more power. Sometimes these fighters cut weight, and they're bigger dudes, and it takes more for them to cut weight. So for Ruslan at age 29 to make 140, who knows, that might be a chore for him. So 147 might be comfortable. So you may have seen Timothy Bradley in there with a more powerful Ruslan just because he didn't have to cut as much weight from his walking around weight. So really a testament to Timothy Bradley. A lot of people clown and say, "Oh, this guy has no punching power." Even that's true. Okay, he doesn't have he doesn't have any punching power. But it's pretty remarkable that a guy with no punching power can even match wits or outbox or win a fight convincingly against a Ruslan Provodnikov, because this guy has a chin and he won't back down. I mean, he doesn't move backwards. So if you really think about it, Timothy Bradley must have did something real right to win and outbox a guy like Ruslan Provodnikov, because he doesn't stop. He's like a bulldozer. He keeps coming forward unless you physically make him stop. One thing Ruslan should work on is just fatigue, just being fatigued. He was able to win, so I mean, you can't shame on him too much. But sometimes he has these all-out assaults trying to get his guy out of there, and he could pick his spots a little bit better. Because there was times where he had Alvarado hurt, like drastically hurt, before. I don't know the exact round number off the top of my head, but he had Alvarado hurt, and it looked like he punched himself out again, similar to what he did in the Timothy Bradley fight. Like, he had Alvarado real hurt, and then Alvarado started making a comeback in that round, maybe round 8 or 9. I don't really remember off the top of my head, but Alvarado started making a comeback towards the end of the round because Ruslan was inactive after he had that all-out assault trying to get his man out of there. So against elite fighters and fighters with some pop, you want to be able to pull the trigger and get him all the way out of there. So if for instance, Ruslan were to fight like a Lucas Matisse, you don't want to gas out because Lucas Matisse, you know what I would love to see? I don't know if Top Rank and Golden Boy could stop having a pissing contest, but if they could make Lucas Matisse and Ruslan Provodnikov, I would pay pay-per-view money to see that. If they could make Brandon Rios, I've said this like a while ago. I'll try to attach the video at the end of this, but I said this a long time ago, right after I think the Ruslan and Bradley fight. If they could make Brandon Rios versus Ruslan Provodnikov another fight, I would actually pay top dollar. Like some of you guys, like, oh fuck that, I'm streaming. I will pay for that if it was a pay-per-view, just to see Brandon Rios and Ruslan, or Lucas Matisse and Ruslan. I think that'd be a great fight. Let me know what you guys think of those matchups. Again, as far as Mike Alvarado being a quitter, I mean, the guy was getting beat. He was getting beat up with hellacious shots. And like I said, he tried. And I don't know what you guys expect. I think some of you fans are stupid. Like, some of you guys, I genuinely think you want to see people die in the ring. Like, I don't know if you're desensitized by blood sports and movies and shit. Like, bah! But I think you want to see people die. Like, you have to see that blood and guts and that excessive gore to appreciate a sport or something. But the guy, he was through. He was basically out on his feet at the end of the round before Alvarado quit on the stool. He started walking towards the wrong corner. Alvarado's corner was like, Mike, we got to stop it. You're getting beat up. We got to stop it. And he was like, oh, like he sounded so out of it. He didn't sound like he was like coherent. He sounded drunk as fuck. And it didn't sound like he was all there. And then Tony Weeks came. He said, hey, do you want to stop? Hey. And he was like very stern with Alvarado. He was like, do you want to keep fighting? And he was like, no. Like he didn't sound like he was all there. So if his corner or Tony Weeks or whatever would have sent him back out there for an 11th round, he probably would have got demolished because Ruslan didn't have to do much. He was already out of his feet. His legs looked gone. He looked gone mentally. It just wouldn't have been a good look. So like I said, I don't call Alvarado a quitter. Again, this is one occurrence, and I think he fought with his heart. He tried to put on a show for his hometown crowd, and he came up a little bit short. So props to both fighters. Like I said, props to Ruslan for coming off of a upsetting loss against Timothy Bradley and doing what he did in this fight. And props to Alvarado for trying to put on for his hometown and coming up short, because even in coming up short, it's still, they both gave us a great fight. That's all I can say. So let me know what you guys think of this fight. Ruslan Provodnikov versus Mike Alvarado. What do you guys think of this fight? What do you think of Rios versus Ruslan, or Ruslan versus Matisse? Leave a comment, let me know. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.